Welcome, everyone. There are three things I want to talk with you about today. First, as predicted by ancient prophecy, the light of the center of our galaxy, called Sion, is rising. It's delivering a hidden vibration or power to Earth. They who bathe in these energies are called the anointed. The anointed are fearless ones who grab this energy and light up their souls, not for the service to themselves, but for the service to all. The third thing is there's a tribe of beings that comes from the center of the galaxy, and according to these prophecies, they will be returning in the period from 2012 on. I want to open with a quote from Dr. Carl Sagan from his presentation Cosmos from back in 1976, in which he said, "The surface of the Earth is the shore of the cosmic ocean." I love that quote for the word picture that it painted, because it told us that back then we were preparing to step out into the galaxy. And when we did, we looked back. And for the first time ever, we saw our planet from space. This photograph, called Earthrise, was published on Christmas of 1968. And with it came an extraordinary message for humankind. As people looked at this, it touched their hearts deeply, because they realized we're all one race. There are no lines separating people here. This photograph inspired the environmental movement, who used it with slogans that said, "Love your mother," because we began to recognize that our home planet was in fact a living being, an organic being, and that we had to take care of her. Well, since then, a new image has been introduced into human consciousness that is also having a tremendously expansive effect, and that's the image of our Milky Way galaxy from afar. If we could step outside our galaxy and look back, we would see it as this magnificent cosmic disk. And what's happening now is that we're beginning to recognize that we are part of this great cosmic organism, the Milky Way, and that we're connected to what must be a vast number of civilizations that are out there. Secondly, we're beginning to orient ourselves toward the center of our Milky Way galaxy. And we're beginning to now follow a trail into the galaxies itself, into the universe. We're seeing photographs such as this of the galaxy Andromeda, our nearby neighbor, and also of Pegasus. And we're beginning to wonder just how many civilizations there might be out there in the known universe. NASA tells us there might be as many as 450 billion galaxies similar to our own in the known universe. And then they tell us there might be multiple universes out there. We're entered into a realm of extraordinary possibility here. And what I'm going to ask you to consider is that the ancients might have known quite a bit about the Milky Way, and they left us a trail to follow. For example, when you go to the temple of Isis at Sais in Egypt, it says, "I am all that is, all that hath been, and all that will forever be, and my veil no mortal hath drawn aside." If in fact we're talking about the Milky Way here, then this is literally a true statement, because until now, the center of our Milky Way galaxy has literally been obscured from us. Now, with the invention of telescopes and radio telescopes and infrared telescopes, we're able to peer beyond the veil of the galaxy and look into the galactic center. And what science is showing us is absolutely extraordinary. Here's a selection of images from NASA and other space observatories that are showing us what the center of our galaxy looks like. As we look at these images, I'd like you to pay close attention to the colors that are used to symbolize the center of the galaxy. High purples, pinks, and fuchsias. These are the colors of the divine feminine. And based on what the ancients said, our galaxy is in fact feminine in nature. She is the great cosmic mother, so it makes perfect sense for them to pick these color schemes. This is an artist's conception of the Arches star cluster at the center of our Milky Way galaxy. What's fascinating about this is that the ancients said that the center of the galaxy was not only a star nursery, it was also perhaps a soul nursery. So what in fact we could be looking at here is not the creation of stars, but actually the creation of souls. This is remarkable, because in the Gnostic tradition, the Enlightenment tradition of the past, they tell us that we all have a divine spark within us, a seed atom, a tiny piece, a spark of the original great fire that once existed at the center of the galaxy. In fact, it is this divine spark that creates our human body as a vehicle for exploration. What they further tell us is that there is a part of ourselves, our divine self, in fact, that still dwells in the center of the galaxy, that still dwells in Sion. This wonderful painting is by an American artist named Thomas Cole that shows a baby soul on the boat of time emerging from some center place. Along for the ride is an angelic being, a bright white being of light that actually represents this soul's higher self. There are different names for this higher self. It's called the heavenly twin, the angelic spirit, the guide of light, the guide of the soul, the man of light, the perfect nature, and the divine spark. What the Gnostics teach is that many of us have forgotten about our heavenly twin, our divine self, and that we need to remember this aspect of ourselves because it is the part of ourselves that seeks to enlighten us and to return us to the light of Sion. I was once in Florida giving a presentation about this, and I asked the audience if they have ever connected with their higher self, and if so, how do they know when they make that connection? And I'll never forget one woman's answer. She said that in times of crisis, in times of fear, in times of uncertainty, I hear this voice, and it always asks me the same question: what would you do if you weren't afraid? And that to me is the message of the Light of Sion. It's asking us to overcome our fear and to connect with that higher self and to operate from that higher, finer place. Now is the time for us to do this. According to the Mayans, we are entering into a very special time of prophecy. For at sunrise on December 21st, 2012, for the first time in 26,000 years, our sun rises to conjunct the intersection of the Milky Way and the plane of the ecliptic. This cosmic cross, as they call it, is considered to be the embodiment of the sacred tree, the tree of life, which is a tree remembered in all the world's spiritual traditions. Some observers say this alignment with the heart of our galaxy, Sion, will open a channel for cosmic energy to flow through the earth, cleansing it and all that dwells upon it, raising all to a higher level of vibration, transforming us into righteous beings. This is the gospel of 2012, the good news of 2012. But the thing about it is that NASA has actually discovered an energy source at the center of our Milky Way galaxy. In November 2010, NASA published this amazing image of 26,000 light-year tall plumes of energy coming from the center of our Milky Way galaxy. And the thing is, NASA really doesn't know what caused this massive plume of energy to suddenly be detected. Was it the result of a star formation at the center of the galaxy? Or was it the result of an expulsion of energy from the black hole at the center of our galaxy? The thing is, scientists don't know. They're baffled by this image. But when we look back into the ancient record, we find clues for what might actually be the nature of this energy. For example, the ancient Israelites followed a pillar of fire by day and a pillar of fire by night as they were wandering in the wilderness. Is it possible that what NASA has discovered for us here is this pillar of fire by day and pillar of fire by night? Are we syncing once again with the center of the galaxy? Are we aligning our consciousness the way the ancients said that they had done? And will this be the motivating force that begins to transform us as a species? I believe so, and I believe that images such as this from NASA are proving what the ancients knew about the center of the galaxy, and it's time now for us to put away our fear, to overcome our limitations, and to become the true humans that we know that we can become.